Yeah, I'm good to go. They're gonna pick it up mainstream, so I'm good to go.
Good to go.
Okay.
All right, good morning. I'm John Miller, Chief of Police of Winters Police Department. First, just a note about the intended format for this morning. I have a prepared statement that I will present to you, which will be followed by statements from Yolo County District Attorney Jeff Reisig. After which we'll answer questions, but please understand, due to the sensitivity and confidentiality of many of the elements of this incident due to the victim's age, we may not be able to answer all questions. On May 4th of 2018, after a 7-month investigation, the Winters Police Department obtained a no-bail arrest warrant for Jeremiah Bessolo-Marsh, a 21-year-old Contra Costa County resident. Bessolo-Marsh was taken into custody by the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department pursuant to the warrant on the same day. He was subsequently turned over to the Winters Police Department and booked at Yolo County Jail for numerous felony charges, including human trafficking of a minor for commercial sex, distribution of child pornography, unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor, oral copulation with a minor, furnishing controlled substances to a minor, and dissuading a witness. Misdemeanor charges included violation of a court order and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Winters Police Department first became aware of Bessolo-Marsh after taking a report of a runaway Winters 16-year-old girl in October of 2017. School Resource Officer Corporal Gordon Brown started an investigation, and with the assistance of the Yolo County District Attorney's Office Human Trafficking Unit, High-Tech Crime Unit, and Multidisciplinary Interview Center, which is called the MDIC, the investigation determined the minor was being used for prostitution, as well as making and distributing child pornography for the financial benefit of Bessolo-Marsh, whom she identified as her boyfriend. Additionally, it was determined Bessolo-Marsh was involved in sexual acts with the minor and providing her with narcotics. In January of 2018, the Winters Police Department reorganized the school resource officer position into a dedicated detective position, the first in Winters history, and the ongoing investigation was assumed by Detective David Gonzales. Detective Gonzales was assisted by Sergeant Kelly McCoy and received extensive clerical and record support by Community Service Officer Gail Jimenez. The investigation proved to be complex and included numerous search warrants for electronic devices, sorting through pages of evidence contained on numerous social media platforms, and conducting interviews with the victim at MDIC. During the investigation, a restraining order was obtained ordering Bessolo-Marsh not to have contact with the victim. Despite this, Bessolo-Marsh was arrested for violating the restraining order by the Yolo County Sheriff's Department in January of 2018 and by the Hercules Police Department in February of 2018. And he continued contact with the victim through social media. The victim was placed into protective custody by Yolo County Child Protective Services and is receiving victim services. The Winters Police Department would like to thank the Yolo County District Attorney's Office for their assistance, and in particular Yolo County District Attorney Jeff Reisig, who had the foresight and the vision to establish the DA's High-Tech Crime Unit, and most recently the Human Trafficking Unit, to better investigate, prosecute, and provide services to victims of these crimes. The incident is a reminder of how accessible and vulnerable children can be, even here in the city of Winters, in this electronic and information age. The Winters Police Department highly encourages parents to be aware of their children's internet and social media activities. And with that, I will turn it over to DA Jeff Reisig.
Chief. Good morning, I'm Yolo County District Attorney Jeff Reisig, and we're holding this briefing today in Winters for the exact reason the Chief said. Human trafficking, which is really just a modern day form of slavery, is happening everywhere. It's happening in big cities, it's happening in little cities, it's happening in places like Winters, which is a small rural community on the corner of Yolo County. And so that's why we're here, is to talk about not only the victim in this case and what happened to her, but also to send out a warning to families, to parents, to people all across the region that this is happening where you least expect it, and you need to be aware, and we need to protect our children by making sure that we're monitoring who they're talking to on social media, who they're Snapchatting with. I mean, these are tools that predators are using to lure our children into this industry, which has become the second most profitable industry for organized crime and criminals, human trafficking. They're trading our kids like they're trading drugs and guns. And so that's the purpose for asking you all to come out to Winters today. We're glad that we had a good turnout from the media. As far as the charges in this case, We have prepared, my office has filed a felony complaint, which is available for the media in the back and anyone else who's interested. We've charged Mr. Bessolo-Marsh with 10 counts. Those 10 counts, and I'll just briefly overview them for you, include human trafficking of a minor for commercial sex, oral copulation with a person under the age of 18, matter depicting sexual contact by a minor, unlawful sexual intercourse when a minor is more than 3 years younger than the perpetrator, furnishing controlled substances to a minor, dissuading a witness, 2 counts of dissuading a witness, actually 3 counts, a violation of court order, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Based on all of these counts, Mr. Bessolo-Marsh is facing up to 20 years in prison. He will be arraigned today at 1:30 in the Yolo County Superior Court, where we'll be asking the judge at that time to set bail commensurate with the offenses that he's committed and his risk of flight. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the chief and any questions that you may have. Thank you. Oh, and before I break, I do want to just take a moment. I want to commend the Winters Police Department for doing such what I think is an excellent job in investigating a very difficult case for a small agency. These cases are a tremendous amount of work. We are fortunate in Yolo County that we have this collaborative that we've formed. My office has a dedicated human trafficking investigator and a prosecutor, which we just started within the last few years. And what we do is we join forces with agencies like Winters PD and other providers. In this case, there were others involved, like Empower Yolo, which is a nonprofit in Yolo County. They're actively working to help the victim. Our multidisciplinary interview center that the chief mentioned is an integral part of the investigatory process and taking statements from the children, and our CSEC. So these are all partners in this effort, which again, these cases are very complex and time-consuming, and Winters PD has done an excellent job in delivering to us a case that we believe has merit, obviously, because we filed a criminal complaint. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the chief.
At this point in time, if anyone has any questions, I have Detective Gonzales, who has probably the best oversight of the case and may be able to answer any questions. Again, please understand, due to confidentiality and sensitivity, we may be limited what we can answer.
Sir, can we confirm that this minor was the only victim? We're hearing from some sources that the suspect in this case worked at a school district at one point.
As for him, we don't have the information that he worked at a school. From my investigation and the help of others from the Yolo County District Attorney's Office, we were able to determine that she was the only victim. I wasn't aware, or our department wasn't aware of any other victims, nor the fact if he worked at a school district at all.
Do we know how old the suspect is?
He is 21 years of age at the moment, will be turning 22 in the near future here.
Can you give us a little more information about how he made contact with the girl?
They met at a party down in Rodeo, California, and from there they hung out, got together, and just kind of went from there. She would run away from her home and go directly to him, which he was able to persuade her to sell any kind of photos, videos, to get benefit of money to help him and them with food and kind of bills or debt that they had. From there, within our investigation, we were able to determine that he was using her in an illegal manner, given the human trafficking situation. And with more investigation, we were able to determine what else was going on.
A couple of the charges involved dissuading a witness. Was the witness the victim, or was it somebody else?
It was the victim. So he would, I can't really give more information on that, but he would coach her and to kind of tell her what to say and whatnot when law enforcement was involved.
One other thing, Mr. Reisick used the word slavery, and that implies someone that is being forced to do something against their will. And in this case, is this how you view a 14-year-old who may not have a role in experience, or was she psychologically controlled?
You know, I say that for the following reasons. One, when you're talking about minors, they can't consent to sex acts, obviously. And in this case, we're not going to get into the details of her state of mind in this case. But what I can tell you generally is that these kids, these are children, are lured, and it could be through a personal meeting at first, and then it's, you know, social media and texting and all that. But they get lured into this belief that these predators are actually, that they love them, that they're there to take care of them, and that they're going to help them. And it really is, it is brainwashing. And these kids are brainwashed into believing that these pimps, these predators that are selling them or selling their images are somehow people that they should know and trust and love. And it's a complete farce. So they are victims. They are essentially operating under duress. And that's how we view it. Any child under the age of 18 that's in this industry after being lured into it is a victim. Plain and simple.
Do we know how long after they initially met at the party did he begin requesting these things from her?
My understanding, it was soon after they met, about a few weeks after, from our investigation. Kind of happened because, as I mentioned, she ran away from home, so she had nowhere to stay, nothing to eat, nowhere to use the bathroom, anything like that. So in order for them to bring in some kind of funds, he persuaded her to sell videos, to commit sexually acts, and bring in money in that way.
She ran away from home where she had parents, of course.
Correct.
Did she would come and go, right?
Correct.
And they met in September of 2017 or August?
It was September.
Okay. Where's the victim now?
The victim is, she's at a secure home. I can't give that information where she's at, but she is doing well. She's able to attend school now. She's able to live her life as a child. She's able to go to school.
Was she not going to school or doing everything?
She ran away a lot with him, to be with him. He wouldn't take her to school. Like I said, he persuaded her a lot to kind of be with him and not go to school and, you know, bring in funds through sexual acts of that sort.
I have one other question.
Yes.
This guy was contacted in a tent in Contra Costa County. So this guy didn't live anywhere? He was just a transient?
That was my understanding, correct. So he was located from the help of the Contra Costa Sheriff's Office. They were able to locate him around his apartment complex where he used to live. And then, yeah, he was in a tent, so that's where they found him.
It seems, excuse me.
Sorry. Are there any related priors that he has? Anything relative to?
Relative to the human trafficking aspect of it, no. He has, you know, some misdemeanor charges here and there out in Contra Costa County. But other than that, this is the only human trafficking case that I know of within Yolo County.
It seems like you're still checking in on the victim every now and then on the welfare. Does it seem to you that the guy still has something over her, some power over her? Or is she free of all that shackle, if you will?
When it led up to it, it felt like he did have some power over her, but close to the end, she was clean from narcotics. She was able to kind of live a normal life. Kind of made her realize, I would say, hey, he's not in charge of me anymore. I have the power to do what I need to do. And that's what gave her the strength to talk with us and to just inform law enforcement of everything that was going on. So in the very beginning, yes, he did have control over her, but now, not no more.
And is that pretty typical? They use narcotics to keep control over their victims that way. It seems like you're nodding yes.
Yeah, correct.
What sorts of narcotics was she on? Or did he give her?
It was various amounts of narcotics. It's, I mean, I can't name off all of them off the tip of my head, but it was a various amount.
And kind of piggybacking off of what he was saying, did she come forward and that's how you found out about this? Or what was the initial thing that kind of brought him and her to your radar?
It was the, we investigated when she was running away, and like I said, with the help of the MDIC interviews, we were able to kind of speak with her and kind of determine what was actually going on. So with just the information of speaking to her, that's what we used based off.
as well as concerns from the parents.
So can we accurately say that that's what spurred the investigation into this?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for taking the time out and talking with us, and hopefully we're able to provide you guys with some good information.
There's also a copy of his booking photo back on the table, along with the charges from the district attorney's office. Okay?